PK52, the Saturday morning meeting. Time to have a conversation. If you've been at a dealership and you met somebody that you never met before, a fresh up, a new customer, a new client, somebody that's never been to the store before, stop and ask yourself, how's that possible? Did they drive in a vehicle? Do they currently own or are making payments on that vehicle? What did the last salesperson do to not get that customer back? After spending hours or weeks in research, finding the car that they wanted, making a purchase of that car, going to the dealership, becoming satisfied enough with the car transaction that they purchased the vehicle, why did that customer not go back to that salesperson? There's a lot of energy going on in the car business right now about asking for the sale. And I am 100% behind that. It is very difficult to teach any human to ask somebody for money. We were raised to never ask for money. Don't ask grandmother, don't ask grandpa for money. Work, make your own money. Don't take gifts, don't take charity. Most of us grew up in that kind of environment where we were told to have some pride and to earn your own money and don't take handouts. And then you get into an industry where the only way you can make a living is to ask a total stranger for money. And it's a very interesting career, job, opportunity, because most people can't do it. The hours required to be in a sales organization to get started in your business are gigantic, but those hours shouldn't be gigantic years after you've been at the same location. Because each and every person that trusted you enough in a business sense, I'm not talking about a friend or a personal relationship. I think a lot of people stretch that way too far to have a personal relationship with somebody. It's a business transaction. But they bought a multiple $1,000 unit from you. They trusted you enough in a business sense to do a business transaction with you. Why would they begin that transaction with a total stranger the next time they purchase something that costs this much money? If you go to a doctor and the doctor takes care of your family, you don't look for another doctor when you get sick. You go back to that doctor because you've earned the trust of that doctor. That doctor has all these diplomas around the room. You walk in, the waiting room has diplomas, each room has diplomas. And my joke, and I've said it a bunch of times in meetings, is, what do you call a doctor that graduated last in their class? You still call them doctor. But once they've proven to you that they can listen and they can help you, you don't change doctors. This is a logistic world. It doesn't take anything to get sued. Somebody sues your family and a lawyer takes care of you. You're in an accident. They make sure that the hospital bills go away. If something else happens to you or your family, you don't go to another lawyer. I mean, if a plumber comes to your house and takes care of a situation that would have cost you multiple thousands of dollars, you don't call another plumber. But why is it when you're buying a $30,000 to $100,000 vehicle that you change salespeople every single time? I'm all about training that allows you to ask for the sale, that allows you to present numbers in a very professional manner, because the customer came into your store, into your dealership, into your workplace to buy something. There's nothing wrong with asking for the deal, but at the end, build that business relationship so that they come back to you. So I guess the title of this Saturday morning meeting is, do you have a job or do you go to work every single day to build a career? Because a great sales professional, somebody that really cares about their client, has two missions. First of all, the product that I just sold you, I would love to have back. I'm not playing around. All of you know that I'm very immersed with Toyota with my whole career. If I sell you a Tacoma or a 4Runner or the new Land Cruiser that comes out, I really want that back because I'd like to sell it again, and I'll sell you another Toyota. So each and every time you do a transaction with a former client, there should be two transactions. But if your job every day after you've been to a dealership for multiple years is to get there and stand there and wait, or to call randomly on the phone to try to bring people in that you've never met before, that's why the turnover is so great in the car business. Think about this, and I've done this math so many times. A 20 car a month average at the end of 5 years gives you 1,200 clients. If somehow, some way, your focus was after the sale, listen to what I'm saying, not to close somebody. I'm sorry, I don't like that word. I don't think if you believe in your product and you have your product knowledge and what you're doing is very professional, I don't really think you need to trick somebody or fast talk somebody into buying something. You know, I think that if you educate somebody to the level of your knowledge of your product, then they'll buy the product and maybe stay with that product forever. You know, that's the same in any industry. There are in electronics, there's so much entertainment, TVs and different kind of apps that you can get for your phone and everything. Once that provides you a service, you stay with it. Well, I'm providing you a service. I'm helping you out. I've never met you before, but now we've met. Some of the things I've said to people, I know are whimsical. I know that most people wouldn't say it, but I'll be sitting there and I'll look at them and say, you know what? I just thought about something. And they'll say, what'd you think about? I'll say about how easy it's going to be for me to sell you your second car. Because the next time you buy a car, we already know each other. You call me up on the phone, I'll have the car set aside. I'll have an appraisal on your car, and you'll be in and out like going to the grocery store because you're my client and I'll take care of you. So that's going to be really exciting to me to get your second car, to sell your spouse a car, and when your kids become driving age, to sell them a car. And I am very adamant about having that conversation with everybody that I talk to when I deliver a car. That's building a career. Because that 1,200 base we just talked about starts to grow. I think it's super important to make sure that the customer understands that there's a different level of service from an aftermarket repair shop versus your dealership repair shop and maintenance outlet, your service department, your parts department. Let's talk about this. The technology of cars is changing. It's changing so fast. There's EVs out there with different manufacturers. I know that. There's not a lot of people that can work on those EVs. They have to be brought back to the dealership. Some of the high-tech cars with Toyota right now, for example, the Toyota Crown and the new Toyota Prius, are using such low viscosity oil, 0.16, 0.08. It's almost like water. And the reason why, it decreases friction in the engine, which decreases the toxins in the environment. But I can't go to a brand B repair facility and get 0.08. So in order to be able to preserve that car, to put the right oil in that car, lubrication in that car, to be able to have it checked out by a technician that knows what they're doing, I have to bring the car back to a Toyota store. So the Toyota store becomes a lifetime store. I buy my vehicle there, I service there, I buy my parts there. It's Father's Day, I buy the tools for Dad at the store. It's a one-stop store. If the sales professional goes to work every day and creates a career, the first hour of every morning should be working into what you've done and what you've built in the future. Let me give you an example. Each and every person has a trade cycle. Now, I realize the trade cycle has been a little skewed right now because interest rates are up and the prices are high and people may be keeping their car a little bit longer. But if you look back through the history, if somebody trades cars every 3 years, that they're ready to trade cars in 3 years. That's just the way it is. If they're a lease customer, if they've leased multiple times, then you look at the term of the lease. If it's 36 months, you know that they're going to trade their car in 36 months. Some people keep their car 5 years. That is very easy to source. Two ways you can source it. You can look at their past history of what they purchased and how often they traded. And then you can also ask them. Every dealership has some computer system that allows you to be able to store information, a CRM. So when a customer leaves, Mr. Johnson just left the dealership. Mr. Johnson trades cars every 4 years. That's what he does. Every 4 years, he's looking for new technology. He's a new car buyer. In that CRM, I drop in 3.5 years to call my customer 6 months before they're in their trade cycle and just say, I was just thinking about you. I know you're getting close to thinking about trading a car based upon your history. There's no reason I shouldn't know that. I'm like their lawyer or their plumber or their doctor. I'm their car person. Why would I not know that? Why would I not know the history of my medical patient? Why would I not know the background of what they've gone through? Why would I not know what kind of plumbing system or what kind of legal battles that you're in if I'm your lawyer? I know your history of the car business. There's nothing wrong with that. But the thing about it is the majority of people that are in this industry are waiting for that next total stranger to show up. My big thing today is there's a lot of changes in the car business. Let me finish up with some actual stats. In the Toyota world, you have to buy a new Toyota at a Toyota dealership. There's 1,238 Toyota stores, fluctuates, 1,238. In order to get a brand new Toyota, you have to buy it from a Toyota store. You can buy a used Toyota anywhere. There's 6 million used Toyotas sold a year. Only 900,000 are sold at Toyota stores, and 5.1 million Toyotas are sold not at Toyota stores. So somewhere along the way, when we sold somebody a Toyota, we lost that product. Our expectations weren't they're going to bring back the product to us. They traded the product somewhere else. They sold it online. Carvana bought it. They went to another dealership. They saw an ad and they thought, well, I'd love to have that car. They traded their car in there. And so we lost 85% of the cars that we sold new are not coming back to Toyota stores and not being sold by Toyota. I don't know the numbers on the other manufacturers, but to be honest with you, I think they'd probably be about the same. The independents are out there selling Toyota product right now because it's the hottest product out there. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that customer brings that product back to me each and every time. So Toyota's got a situation going on with all the other manufacturers. Right now we've got a strike going on with the big three. Who knows how that's going to turn out? I'll be touching on that the next couple of weeks and let you know. They started out wanting a 46% pay raise, a 40-hour work week, but only work 32, and there making $32 an hour on average, which is $67,000 a year. So I don't know, maybe they probably deserve more because the car business has been super profitable over the last 3 years. And so, I hope they get better result. And I hope they get security for their family, if that's their goal. But now that slows down production, so new car pricing goes up. We didn't make 10 million cars over the last 3 years, gang. They weren't made because of the part shortage and COVID. We should have had 10 million more new cars in the market, but they weren't manufactured because the plants had slowed down or some had shut down for a while. And so we only sell 36 million used cars a year, total used cars sold in the United States. And now there's 10 million that aren't going to go back into that market, which is going to make sure that for the next few years, there's going to be a deficit in current year 1, 2, and 3, 4-year-old used cars. So people are going to move back to new cars. The new car production is not increasing. It's going to be somewhere around 15 to 18 million. If we get back to where we were, about 17.5 million, we've been around 15 or 14.5, so 3 million a year off. But those cars are going to be sold. The demand cars are going to be sold. And so the sales professional right now is really not prepared for that customer coming in and going, hey, I want to be back an invoice. Now we get competitive out there. There's some money being thrown in the market by the domestics. Toyota's made an announcement. There's incentives coming back. And now we become a price market again. And now I can't sell a small amount of cars and make a living. I've got to double my production. All these things are coming. But if each and every day, when you deliver your product to somebody, you look them in the eye and ask them for their business forever, for all their future business, and the future business of their family. There are so many ways in a training session that I can take time over the hours and show you how to nurture that. But the minimum you should do is ask for that long-term business. Change your selling job to a selling career. PK52, the Saturday Morning Meeting.